Hazel.
Hi, I'm Azura.
And I'm Jermaine.
And we have a guest today!
Yay!
Wow! Wow, impressive. A model turned singer-songwriter.
Correct.
That's right.
Wow.
I just want to say something before we start.
Yeah.
What?
Time frame, baby.
That's been stuck in my
Time frame,
head.
baby.
Such a good song. That is Iman's debut single. Make sure you check it out. It's called Time Frame. But we're so happy to have you here with us. Our first guest in the studio with us.
We had producer and
That's
previously.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, but our first guest in front of the camera.
That's right.
This is fun. I like this. It's so cozy.
Yay!
Lots of vibes.
Come back anytime.
This is a safe space.
Yeah. Good.
So Iman here, I guess you've worn many hats throughout your entire career.
She's wearing one now.
She is wearing one now. But you were model. Were you an athlete at one point as well?
Yeah, I was a dancer, athlete, model, and then now singer.
Artist.
Artist.
I cannot even do one.
Oh, no lah. You can do many things.
You can do time frame, baby.
Yeah.
That's right. So today we're actually gonna talk about something that I think might be pretty apt with our guests as well, and that is our parents' expectations of us versus what we actually
want.
Yeah, what we want.
So before we begin, Iman, can I just ask you, has this always been what you want or what your parents wanted for you?
Honestly, I feel like everything that I do from like dance up until now and music, it's actually been my choice. You know, I've
love
been
that.
I'm a type of person that loves trying new things. So I was really grateful that I have like different opportunities to try.
Right.
Yeah.
So they never really kind of said like, "Oh, Iman, you should do this or that."
I think the only thing that was this or that was school, you know. But I feel like every parent will always be like focus on school as well. And I'm even still doing school right now.
Yeah.
You know, while I still try and juggle everything that I want to do.
That's incredible. It really is.
How do you have so much time?
Yeah. I have like
just-
48 hours in a day,
No, I wish I don't have enough time.
but you have time frame.
Yeah, baby.
So speaking of time frame, right? I think a lot of people in general were very surprised when they heard your debut single. They were like, "Iman can sing. Iman's a singer now. Whoa!" That kind of thing. So did you get that kind of reaction from your family, your relatives?
I mean, they've kind of known me since I was young, and I love dancing and just like performing and karaoke and just making weird noises in the house sometimes as well.
Born performer.
So I think when I was doing music, they were more shocked that I was actually gonna take it seriously than to put out a music, you know. So I think they were more shocked with like, oh, there's gonna be a music video. Wait, you're signed to Universal now. I think there was more like wow factor in their eyes about those
Like,
things. Than,
she's not playing.
but my
she's
dad, was actually like, what song you doing? Like, you can sing and then I was like, yeah. And then he's like, what's your song? Then I actually let him listen to Time Frame just a little bit because it wasn't done yet. He was walking around the house. I was like peeking, and then he came back, and then my mom was with me, and then he was like, wow, not bad, huh?
No, I also just found out that your dad had an album.
Yes, he did.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
When?
I don't know when, but I only found out maybe like last year or something. I was in the room, and then he was like, you know, I had an album, right? Then I was like, wait, what? And then I looked up on Google and YouTube, and he had an album, I think, with like maybe 10 or 12 songs or something like that.
Oh my God.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the question. Would you do a duet with your father?
Everybody's been asking me this.
Would you though?
I don't know.
Did you listen to the songs?
No, but I think I have heard like maybe one or two, just like a little bit.
Was
Not
it
bad,
good?
not
Any
bad.
good?
Not bad.
Not bad.
For that time.
For that time.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
okay,
our
okay.
genres are a bit different. But to answer your question, maybe a little bit just for fun, you know.
Yeah.
But it's impressive, you know, and even our producer, she had the same reaction, like, oh, wow, Iman, she models so well and now she can sing. Gen Zs are a different breed. ISTG.
Do you know what
What is
ISTG is?
ISTG?
Let's let the Gen Z teach us.
I don't know.
What is ISTG?
ISTG? I swear to God.
Oh,
my
Instagram
goodness.
TV.
No!
Oh, IGTV.
That's so cute.
Hey, you're the real Gen Z.
I am the Gen Z, yeah. I'm a very old
Did you
Gen
know?
Z.
Really?
I didn't know what's
God, yeah.
ISTG.
You know, they said that was actually a breed in the middle between like 1999 and 2002, and that's the Genellials. Wait, is it between
like
the
Gen
Gen
Z
Z
and
and the
millennials?
The
millennials?
Xenials.
The Xenials.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So are you a Xenial?
Yeah, I'm a 2000 baby.
Oh, so did you listen to like Britney growing
Yeah.
up? Yes!
Britney, Rihanna, Linkin Park.
Right.
So I think it was kind of like a surprise for me as well because I was at your press conference, right? I hosted it. Thank you, Universal Music.
Oh, go
No,
baby
but
J.
your parents actually had not seen the music video, even though you worked on it for so long, and you kind of surprised them.
Yeah.
What did they feel about that?
They were like how they felt of me not
Watching
telling
that
them.
music
Oh,
video,
okay.
all your hard work paying off.
I think they were very surprised, like I said, and like shocked and excited. And I mean, you were there. You saw some of them got emotional, and it was like,
You're
"Ugh."
crying.
Yeah,
I
but
also want to
like,
cry. Stand at the back.
I think it was just such a proud moment, that kind of thing. And I was also just like, oh, okay, thank you that like they felt happy for me and they support what I do. You know, yeah. I think that's what you can. That's the best feeling, you know, to know that your family supports you and your friends.
So going from here on, would you be more kind of like open with them about your projects, let them hear it in the process?
Yes, actually I have. So I've been working on other songs and also working on EP this year. So they've heard a little bit here and there, and they're like, "Wow, I like this one better. Oh, I like this one." And I was like, "Okay."
Would they give you constructive feedback as well?
Not really.
you're
They'll
a
just let
musician.
they'll let me do
One album.
my own thing. Yeah, they'll just be like, "Oh, is there gonna be more?" And then I'll be like, "Yeah." Or then I'll say, "I'm still working on them." Like, okay. You know, they don't really like, "Oh, I think you need to change this or change that." They're more supportive in a way where it's like they let me find my sound and let me just do my own thing because they know that I'm also the type of person that's quite harsh on myself. You know, I'm quite
Right.
critical of myself, where I like things to be like perfect before I put it out.
That's so nice. But actually, I just want to touch on like support, you know?
Right.
Because I think Iman is among those who are a little bit luckier in the sense that your dad pursued a career in football, your mom was a model, and so there's that understanding. Because I think maybe if you see like your friends, for example, I think for a lot of people when they say that they want to pursue a career in music, in the sports, or things like that, right? That's less academic. Parents tend to get a little bit worried
That's right.
because they think you can't make a living, that it's not sustainable. But I think for her, maybe from the beginning, there was the understanding because they did that themselves.
Yeah. So technically, if they said no, I can be like, well,
Well,
you well, you did it, so why can't I?
yeah.
Or learning all the bad things from us. But yeah, you know, when it's not in an academic stream or a science stream, right? And you go into the arts. I mean, we're all in the arts here. And we're all from Asian families. Have your parents ever kind of said to any of you like, oh, you need to be a doctor, a lawyer, and
Accountant, auditor, whatever.
yeah. Business, do business.
No, I actually just thought about the funniest thing. My mom, well, my grandma and mom loves to like just make fun. You know what? When you get older, you should just you know, just like find yourself somebody and marry them rich.
Find a rich husband and be a tai tai.
Oh my goodness. Were they joking?
Yeah, of course, of course. But they were just like, just get there in my mind. I'm like, no, I'll find my own way to like, you know, do my own thing. And that
You'll
kind
be
of
the
thing.
rich husband.
Yes. But I think throughout everything that I've done, like, yeah, like you said, unfortunately, some like families might not have the support that they want to like do things, and I don't know. I always believe that you should always give your child like a chance.
Exactly.
That's right.
know.
So you have two brothers, right?
4.
4 brothers.
I have 4 brothers.
You have 4 brothers. I know two of them are
in the middle.
right.
So you're the middle child.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so 2 of your elder brothers are footballers.
Actually, they all are.
All of them are footballers.
Wow.
My goodness.
So come on. That was the program.
But are they all footballers by choice, or is it
Yeah.
influenced by your parents?
Actually, I think when they were younger, they were still kind of like trying to figure out what they want to do. But football has always been something that they went back to, you know. And then, but for my little brother, he actually is still trying to figure out what he wanted to do. He did rugby, and then he got into Legos, and he said he wants to be an air pilot, like a pilot, and fly airplanes. But then he's also doing football. So I think no matter what age, you must kind of like put yourself out there. But lucky for my brothers, they still wanted to do football, and I mean, yeah, they chose what they want to do.
Was there any sort of like, you know, because it was your father's niche, right? Because that's what he did and he knows that area. So was there ever like a, oh, you should do it this way? or I think you should listen to me when it comes to this because I know better. Was there any sort of that for your brothers?
I feel like, because actually they all play different positions, like in the field. Like some of them maybe like defender here and there, striker here and there. But they take my dad's opinions and thought process very seriously. So I think it's not more of like criticism but more of like advice. And I don't think it was kind of a bad thing for them to listen to my dad. And they just play how they want to play, like I know there are players that love to play with their feet. They're good with their they do
Footwork.
And then some are more like, okay, I'm just going to score the goal. Everybody plays differently. And my dad's fine with that. He doesn't really be like, no, you should play this way, this way, this way. Just more like, maybe you should do this.
Oh, that's really nice.
So Hazel, actually during the mutton sandwich podcast, right? You had a friend. You told your friend your dreams of entering the entertainment industry.
That's right.
And this friend actually told you something in Mandarin.
She said, 哎，这个明星梦我也发过了, which basically means I've also had similar dreams, but I know it's not going to happen. Like the way she told me. So I was 14 when I really decided that, after watching so many Taiwanese dramas, I really wanted to enter the entertainment industry because I love performing, I love the arts, Yeah, but I just didn't know how I could be an entertainer from there. And my parents, they were not in the industry at all. So all the more, for me, it's harder for me to come here. But yeah, I feel like I'm lucky as well because my parents, just like yours, they never ever forced me to do anything. But they did want me to choose JC over Poly. They did want me to choose NUS over NTU. Sorry.
Why? I'm from NTU. Okay, actually I get it. Look at how I turned out.
Perfect. I see perfection.
Wow. Okay. But yeah.
No, but they basically judge all these schools based on how they're ranked. People always say it's safer to go to a JC and then you get your A levels and then you go to uni. And why they chose NUS over NTU is basically because they looked at the ratings, the rankings of the schools right back then. NUS was ranked higher than NTU.
Very practical.
Very, very practical.
Yeah.
They just want the safest choice to be made for me, which I appreciate. But I went ahead to NUS and I took like theatre studies and comms and new media. So it's still things that I love and it's very much relevant to what I'm doing today.
So when your parents found out that you entered the entertainment industry, right? Were they supportive?
They were. My mom created like Instagram and Facebook. She doesn't use like social media platforms at all. She created this account just to follow me and like my posts.
Oh my gosh.
Like number one fan.
And then she saw your picture and then she went, Mei Mei.
Yeah. And then she will say things like, you shouldn't be posting this kind of photos, you shouldn't be posting that kind of photos because it's too revealing here, blah blah blah.
She really took an interest.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it's more than an interest now. I think she's a bit too much sometimes.
You can mute people on Instagram, right?
Someone to do that. Oh.
Your mother gonna find me, right? But I think for me it was the opposite. I decided between JC and Poly.
Right.
Eventually I went to Poly.
Okay.
I thought my parents would care, but they honestly could not care less. Yeah, so very, very blessed, I think, in a way, where they were just like, just go do whatever you want. I think they were not too worried about me, not a very naughty child. Good girl, yeah. Eventually when I entered the entertainment industry though, I think my dad always thought that I would go into business.
Right.
But I went
Especially
into
taking over his business,
right,
right?
family business.
Right.
But I went into comms. And till this day, even though they have been very supportive, they watch my hosting shows and all that, my dad still thinks it's a hobby. Yes. Like
But
my entire
that hurts,
job.
though.
Yeah, it does. But I come to understand that he doesn't really mean it that way. It's just that sometimes, when they say things, it's in the wrong kind of way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, this reminds me, there's like a Malay saying to this, that like whenever people hold jobs which are maybe less stable, for example, right?
Okay.
Like the older generation like to say, kerja main-main.
Meaning?
Kerja main-main.
Kerja means work,
Work,
main-main
play.
means play.
So
So it's like you
work,
play like that lah.
So your career is just like a play decision.
Yeah, like you play like that lah. So I had a friend, right, who's an editor, win awards already,
Okay.
and his mother still refers to his job as that. And he's always like, hey, hello, half of the things that you're watching, I do one leh. You know? And like, you're sitting right next to where my awards are, you know? Why you still call it like, play leh?
But I guess for some parents, they are so traditional, right? They just view this kind of things as not stable.
Yeah.
The income is not stable. What if a pandemic hits like COVID and you're one of the first few to potentially lose your jobs? I think that's what they're most afraid of.
But I feel like, that could happen in any sector, in every sector. And I feel
Less
like...
if you're a doctor or a lawyer.
Or
Right?
I also think like, I mean, when people think business, they think, okay, you can go into different areas,
Yeah.
different businesses, different companies, and
Yeah.
I think that's why like most parents want to play the safe route.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want you to maybe be music or be a dancer
starving
or do
artist.
whatever it is, because you never know if it's gonna work out or
Yeah.
not. And
Yeah.
then after you do everything, what do you have left? Nothing,
Yeah.
basically.
It's it's really a very practical Asian kind of mentality,
It
and
is.
a lot of us probably went through that as well. Azura,
Yes.
what about you? Like, did your mom? I mean, you were a professional violinist at one point.
Wow.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Are you gonna have me a track?
Really well.
Are you gonna have... Yeah, okay.
Hey, your violin.
Hey, okay.
But did your parents or your mom ever meddle in kind of like your career choice, being a musician?
Okay. My mother is very typical Asian parent. Okay. So I started learning when I was 6, and then I started performing when I was 11. But in my mother's head, right, this should never be a career for you. Like, this is
a CCA.
A hobby.
a hobby to enrich you, and also like in
Build.
her head it was like, oh, if you're ever like, for example, waiting for school, you can teach. So that will help you, but it ends there. That's why it's when you're waiting for school and not like, oh, you can teach for a living. Yeah, it was never that for her, you see. So it was that sort of mindset. So when I started performing and then she realized that I was getting more serious about it, I think she was like, what have I done? Yeah, so it was like...
Did she try to stop you?
Stop never, because I think she has this thing where if you're gonna start something, you have to finish it. So when she sent me for like lessons, right, her rule was that it's okay if you don't want to do it again, but you have to finish it first.
Okay.
You can't quit halfway.
That's fair. That's discipline, right?
Like that,
Yeah
like,
lah.
yeah, correct. But I used to
Perseverance.
cry all the time. I tell you, like if she could throw that violin, right, she would have thrown like maybe 100 of them now, because every time I had to practice, I was just crying. Like, so they come like different sizes as you grow. It follows the length of your arm, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've got the little ones. They all have like tear stains.
That's very sad.
But why do you hate it so much?
I didn't, but because when you first start, right?
Yeah.
And the performances that you see,
Yeah.
and then you play, it's really like expectations and reality. It's so far, and you're just like, why do I sound like this? You're like a screeching cat for many years, before you actually start sounding a bit nicer. So it was like very painful for me, I think, for a while, until I started performing, and then it was a joy for me, right?
That's nice.
Okay.
And then it was trouble for her, because she was like, oh my god, because then I had school, and then I would rush to rehearsals, and then I was doing shows. So she panicked because it was like a distraction to her already at that point. Like that. Yeah. So because of that, right, at some point I wanted a career in music.
Okay.
But I was, I think, a bit too afraid. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, right, I might want to do it for maybe 2 years or 5 years. But I feel like I cannot do this forever. Because I guess of the mindset she had, that she had like drilled in me a little bit,
Right.
True.
Yeah, so that was why I decided to study. And never use it.
You can use your violin now. You sound nice
For
now.
fun.
No,
Yeah.
no, as in no, as in violin aside.
Oh.
Yeah, I decided to study something academically and not like music,
What
right?
did you study?
I read law in school.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, you have a law degree?
Wait, you have a law degree?
I studied in Nottingham, yeah.
Wow.
What? Our producer is going like behind the camera now. It's so funny. Wait.
Okay, so your mom is fully okay with you being a radio DJ
'Cause she
and
has a
not a
law degree.
lawyer?
Okay, so right, actually before I went to study, right, I knew that I was never gonna practice. But obviously my mother didn't lah.
Okay.
yeah.
But was it something
Okay.
you wanted?
I wanted to study it because I thought
Interesting.
yes, and I like language a lot. So also it was like, okay lah, if I have this right, then I can do whatever I want and like
Yeah.
you know, you
I
just
know what
at
you're
the
talking
back
about.
of your
Yeah,
mind.
Yeah, because honestly, when I was studying as well, right, at the back of my mind, I knew I was studying because it first, like, my parents would know that, okay, at least I have a backup, you know? But that's why I could get away with traveling. I could get away with trying music. I could get away with doing whatever because they knew, okay, she's still studying.
Correct. Although I'll tell you, you'll never use it again lah. But
I hope your parents don't watch this.
oh no.
Okay, so you could actually be a practicing lawyer. That's pretty cool.
Now we know.
She would make such a good lawyer.
No, but
Yeah,
then,
she would.
so now if she goes out and she
Yeah.
gets into trouble, she knows, hey,
yeah,
That's why she took the guy to court. She was sentenced to 13 months prison.
So actually, right, what I didn't mention in that app, right, was that because you have a DPP who fights for you, right? So while I was on the stand, I got a bit frustrated lah because
the guy sucked.
the guy's lawyer was rubbish lah because they had nothing to fight with, right? This is the previous app. You go home and listen, okay? So he was asking nonsense like, I think like, do you remember what you were talking about in the lift, for example? And I got very frustrated. So at some point I said, do you remember what you had for lunch yesterday?
Contempt of court. I'll
and
not
then
have
what
this in
happened
my
after
court.
that?
Huh?
What happened after that?
But okay, because the judge was also frustrated, right? So she sort of understood where I was coming from. And she was like, okay, there. And then she went to the other party and said, can we have more appropriate questions? Like, where are you going with this? Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Very interesting. Good to know that about you. If I ever get in trouble, I'll call you first.
Yeah,
So I
now
don't
I
remember
know.
anything, but
But for Iman, right? So since your mom was a model and back in she beautiful. Even up to today,
Beautiful.
beautiful. And you look so much like her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would think
thanks.
you are sisters.
Yeah.
Actually,
You get that
we've
all the
been
time, right?
walking around like together. When we walk around together, people have asked like, "Oh, is this your sister?"
Oh, I would be so happy.
That's
if,
the biggest compliment for a mother,
Correct,
you know.
correct. So did your mom ever kind of influence your decision to be a model?
I mean, if people are thinking if it was a forced thing, no, you know. I think when I was younger, I would see her getting ready, and I would see like her little like crowns because she was Miss Singapore at one point. And,
Did you wear them?
I don't remember, but I wish I did. I think I did, but I was scared to probably break it or something. You know?
Right.
And I would see her little like trophies and sashes, and then she would do my hair and makeup just for fun. And then slowly, as I got older, we did mother-daughter shoots together, and I realized that I enjoy it. So I think when I was about 14, I actually joined the New Paper New Face competition.
I remember that.
But I
yeah.
didn't tell her that I signed up.
Oh.
So when I actually got the audition, because you have to audition to
Yeah.
like get in the competition, she was like, "What?" So I was like, "Oh, I have an audition. I signed up for this." And then she came with me. She was like, "Fine." And then after that, I got it, you know, and I was in the competition, and she was just supportive, you know, and that was the moment I knew I wanted to kind of like take it a bit more seriously, even though I was still in school. You know, I would be like, hey, like I'll have shoots like here and there, but school's still first.
That's what you say.
And then I mean, I took it more seriously, and I liked it, and it's my decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what if one fine day your mom comes up to you and say, Iman, I think you should stop doing all of this. Stop making music. Stop dancing. Would you listen to her?
Then what do I do?
School, psychology.
Psychology.
Go be a doctor.
But okay, honestly, they would never do that.
Yeah.
Right.
But if, let's say, hypothetically, like it happened, I'll question them. What about you?
She has that card to play.
That
you
gold
know,
card.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, that's why I have psychology to go back on.
Right.
It's something I was interested in, and I want to do, but if they really like know nothing in the entertainment industry, then like psychology, or I don't know, I like kids, so I can go into some like counseling with the kids, or psychology play or something, play therapy. I mean, there's so many things that I could like kind of venture in.
But you wouldn't want to voluntarily give up your career in the arts, right?
No, I mean, I wouldn't, because it's something I enjoy, and I feel like in the arts like industry, there's so many different aspects to it, you know, like music or hosting or fashion, modeling, all those different things play a part into that industry that I love, you know.
But
So-
because, you know, your entire family or most of them are in football, right? Growing up, were you like, oh, I should go into football as well? Or were you like, I don't want to go into football because everyone's in football?
I did play football for a little bit, because I used to live in Indonesia for 4 years,
Okay.
and then when I moved
Your
back
dad was
to,
coaching there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then when I moved back, there wasn't much of a football girls team here in Singapore, and you couldn't really like mix with the boys
Let's change that. Okay.
because of like age or like the strength and
Okay,
stuff
okay.
like that. So I took up more dance and more track and field.
Right.
But then when I did track and field, I was like, no, I'm getting tired of the competitions. You know, I didn't enjoy it anymore. It's kind of like you. I was running and crying at the same time.
Why you?
No, the only reason that was getting me to the finish line was apple strudel. Every time I would tell my coach, I was like, Coach, like the only reason I'm finishing this run is because you tell me I'm gonna get apple strudel after this.
Did he get you your apple strudel?
My mom did. Yeah.
Well, as long as you got it.
No, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a girl. I was able to like.
Okay. An only girl. Yeah.
But do you felt like your oldest brother would have more expectations on him?
I feel like yes, and I feel like everybody has on our family, we all feel like we have a certain type of expectation. You know, of course, to meet up to our dad or mom and like to kind of reach their level. But I think slowly people have come to understand that we're all different.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not my dad. We're not my mom. We're just trying to be us to the best that we can.
That's nice.
That's really, really nice. But could you imagine like an Asian family or a Singaporean family? I've actually seen this many times where 3 kids, right? Doctor, lawyer, then the last one go into arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always kind of like with relatives and all, it's like, oh, why your brother, you know, doctor, then your sister's a lawyer, why are you doing this, huh?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard this kind of questioning?
Can we end this? It's terrible. And you know, I mean, maybe I'm just speaking for like us or myself, right? I don't want to like jump ahead of anyone. But I feel like these people who you think are living like lives which are less stable and things like that, I think they're the happier ones, you know.
Sometimes.
Because they're doing something that they love.
Yeah, I think a lot of times these are the people who go to work every day and they're so happy that they get to do what they want to do.
I'm lucky because I think that's me.
Yeah.
And during like Chinese New Year visitings, my relatives never made fun of my job. In fact, they are so proud of me. So I'm thankful and very blessed lah. They'll be like, "Hey, Mei, I saw you on the advertisement on the channel 8. Why can't I watch it again on Me Watch?" And that kind of thing.
So
That's
it's not just
nice.
your mother, like your whole family. It's a family
You know, honestly, right? When you were talking about the family thing, I kind of like realized that when I went into family like gatherings or something, like that, I would actually feel quite nervous
Oh,
because of the questions they would ask.
because
Would
you knew
they?
they were gonna
Because
ask.
of course people will ask like, "Oh, how are you, Iman?" or like, "What are you doing now?" And that was the question I was actually kind of afraid of when I was younger, because I'll always be like, modeling, school. But then I knew like if I was still schooling, and I still am,
Yeah.
and also like I have a backing, that would get me support. That's why I always felt like I needed a supportive like background, which is my
Right.
psychology, because
Right.
they'll be more interested in that, you know. Because I felt like if I did modeling, they'll be like, "Oh, okay, oh, still, oh, you know."
Won't lah.
Or
yeah.
or like they wouldn't understand that it's something that is fun that I
Yeah.
like to do. But of course, with my mom, they will understand that. But still, I felt like, is that not enough?
Right.
Like that pressure,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
That's why I'm like, okay, I'm still a psychology, getting my degree.
Right,
I'm doing this,
right.
this, this. Oh, I'm also doing music. Or
Right.
am I doing that?
You feel like you have to overcome
Justify
that.
yourself, you know.
But that's smart though. If there's one thing that Iman taught us today, I think it's to get a degree. So you can get away with anything else that you like to do.
What is this? So So we had so much to discuss here today because of Iman and her background in psychology. So we're actually going to go to a part 2. So make sure you listen next episode.